So here we are now with the psychological theories and perspectives, and really there are three that we're going to be looking at, and they're psychoanalytic, like think Freud, so psychoanalytic, cognitive development, and social learning. Those are the three we're going to be going over in that order. So let's get started. So as I said, the first psychological theory and perspective, and I'm saying perspective because there's some sort of movement and jockeying around that goes on in there. So, but it's the psychoanalytic approach, one could say. The first one we get is Freud, and as I say, blaming mother since 1905. I assure you, this is very droll humor, but yeah, he gets accused a lot of blaming mother. And why is that? Well, let's find out. I'm going to give you what is sort of a nickel tour of Freud, the quick overview of Freud, and really focusing on his notion of the Oedipal complex. So we begin. The scene opens on a mother and a father. Yeah, I realize the shapes I'm using for woman and female were, I mean, the gendered notion of sex, I'm sorry, I can't today. Okay, you know what I'm saying. All right, so that's going to represent mother. The other one's going to represent father. Okay. And they have a boy, and they have a girl. That outline of the boy looks a lot like me all through my childhood, with my hair always sticking up in the back. That is a true story. Okay, so the idea is the boy and the girl, always in the care of the mother, always with the mother, they come to identify with the mother. They see themselves as like the mother, they connect with her, they identify with her. Well, this is all fine and good, seems natural. Now, a little saucy detail about the mother is that mother is sexually attracted to father. Sort of saucy. Which, is fine and natural and all. But Freud says the problem is that the boy could potentially, like the mother, share an attraction of fathers or father figures. The men's, right? So that's a concern of Freud, is that the girl and the boy, looking at their mother, connecting with her so much, will share with her in the sexual desire of men. So what's important is that the mother break the connection between herself and her son, right? Create some separation there. She must, if you will, cut the cord, cut the apron strings, right? You ever hear of a boy, they say he's being smothered, and you can't spell smother without mother. That one's going to stick with you now, right? The idea that she has to create this separation from the boy, so then he will work to identify and connect with father. And by sharing and connecting with father, then what will happen? Right? He will lose that any sort of attraction to other men and male figures, because he'll have a connection with his father and share with his father and the sexual attraction of his mother. Mother figures, and also, in fact, yes, mother. Freud says good, healthy development will occur when the boy, connecting and identifying with the father, will come to share in the sexual attraction of the mother. And in fact, the father and the son may actually feel or find themselves in a contest with each other for mother's affection, for who loves her most, and who has the possession of mother. The woman, her body. Freud says that's all good and normal and healthy. So, all right. And the girl here, identified with the mother, is attracted to men. But Freud says what happens when the mother has been cold and creates distance between herself and the mother? Well, that attraction to a man, if you look at it, it becomes, right, because she connects with her father, an attraction to women, right? And so Freud then, in his great, in this case, highly fallible wisdom, right, maintains that it's important that the child identify with their same-sex parent, that they will form natural, healthy, appropriate sexual desire for the opposite sex. What's important about all of this is that when there is a problem, when something doesn't work right, this comes from a homophobic perspective, right? When the boy shares with the mother an attraction of males, when the girl does not share with the mother an attraction of males, this is the fault of the mother. The mother has kept too close of a connection with the boy, or has not fostered the proper connection with the girl. It's all about the mother. So that's a quick and dirty Freud. We can't talk about Freud and gender also without recognizing what he talks about, his, I don't want to say obsession, but his, I won't say obsession, but I'll say incessant talk and concern for the penis. And he sees the penis as being very central. He says the penis is how children, and also adults, differentiate males from females is about the penis, right? Not the vagina, but the penis, right? And so what happens, and he says that girls come to envy, thus women, to envy the penis, to wish to have a penis of their own, and males, their fear is of castration, which I suppose might actually be a loss of the testes, but whatever, right? Castration, the loss of the penis, and therefore losing their maleness and becoming a woman. Oh, woman! Oh my gosh, become a woman! I would just kill myself, right? I mean, this is that sort of thing we're going with, is that the girls, of course, wish they had a penis that could be like a boy because it's easier to write your name in the snow. I mean, I don't know, right? And the boys are all afraid of losing their penis, and they'll end up like mother, like those girls. I wish I were making this stuff up. So, right. Now, then you get Horny, and Horny is a psychoanalyst, and she says, might be important that's a she, or identifies as a woman, right? And she says, girls and women, they don't want to have a penis. They're not interested in changing those things out. They would like to have power. Because in our culture, having a penis, right, being recognized as male. Right? Being recognized as male is what gives you access to power. And she says, no, we don't want the penis. We want the power that comes from having one. Right? We don't need to be able to pee standing up. There may or may not be a time saver. That's not what we care about. We care about the power that comes from being able to use the men's room. Right? That's what she recognizes and talks about. It's about the associations that we have there. Okay. Another important psychoanalyst to discuss is Chodorow, and Chodorow, Nancy Chodorow, she responds to Freud as well, and she says, again, recognizing the centrality of mothers, that mothers end up treating their children differently, right? And that is to say, according to their sex. She says that what happens is that daughters recognize similarities that they have with their mother. The children seeing their own bodies, their own naked bodies, seeing their parents' naked bodies. The girl sees how she is similar with the mother. And the mother, thinks sort of Freud, how mothers are supposed to bond with mothers and sons different, daughters and sons differently. Chodorow says, yeah, the mother says, oh, it's my daughter, like me. I want her to have the same experiences as a little girl I had, etc., etc., right? And the girl, right, seeing how mom and I, we're similar because we're both girls, because we don't have, or because, as Freud would say, we don't have a penis, or he might say, because we have a vulva, which, interestingly, my daughter sees a connection with her mother physically as not being about this thing about the penis, but because we both have vulvas, right? She says, right, we both have vulvas, but Grant doesn't have one. See, there is a way to get past this at penis, not penis, right? And just ask the 5-year-olds because they want to talk about everything. Okay, she's only for 5. But so the daughters see those similarities between the mother, and so what happens is the mother and the daughter then, they, tra-la-la-la-la, right? They're going along doing these things together. And so that DEP there is abbreviation for dependent. That the girl learns about relational dependence, about doing things with other people, because here, it is assumed, the primary adult in her life, her primary caregiver, her mother here, right? Mother, looking up at mother, that's the person that is like her physically, and they do these things together. And so she then learns about relational dependence and relating to people. The boy, the son, feels a difference, right? Or I said sons, right? Sons, they feel a difference, right? They see the difference of their bodies, and they feel the difference that we're not the same. The sons don't feel that they're going along and doing the same sort of, oh, this is just like when I was a little girl stuff that they're doing with the daughters. You don't have to have siblings of both sexes, right? Just the point is the son is not getting the same sort of thing that a daughter would get, even just, only child. The son's going to feel, not feeling that same sort of connection that daughter would feel. And therefore, Chodoro says, this is why she says that, at least we think about, men as being more independent, relationally speaking, is because when they're little, and they're there and grab on the mommy's like, oh, well, honey, you don't want to be here with me while I'm scrubbing the floors and doing the dishes. Your sister should be here. No, right? But you don't want to be here with me. You go on down. The kid's like, oh, so I can't hang out with you then? I gotta go. Okay, well, I guess I'll do my thing. Right? This is the idea that the son does not feel that same connection that a daughter would, feels that difference between them, that the mother's not teaching the son, see, do how mommy does, the way that she might with a daughter, and therefore feels like, oh, so I got to sort of go on my own a bit more, and that creates an independent relational orientation. That's the argument here. When we think about all of the psychoanalytic, right, think about all of them, you should notice mothers are central in this, right? Mothers are central in all of this. It does make one wonder, what happens then when the father is the primary caregiver, when there's not a mother, when there's two fathers, etc.? Yes, it does make one wonder such things, and you see then why, the psychological theories, part of it is, and Nancy Chodoro is not like, get those men out of the house. If I ever met Nancy Chodoro on the street, by the way, with or without a mask, I wouldn't recognize her. I don't know what she looks like. And she found out how much time I spent with my children. She wouldn't say, I don't know about that. She would think it was good, right? She'd have no problem with it. But they're recognizing how often it is that mothers are, in Western culture, at the very least, the primary caregivers and the central familial figures, right? As the one for care, the care, both the sort of nurturing as well as the here's your food sort of thing. So, and all of those mothers are central. What the feminists say is sort of the cultural power of mothers, right, has been the way they're essential figures, just that we also have a tendency to downplay how that's very important, right? So in all this, then, mothers are very central, and so this is also in part why, not because of, feminist psychoanalysts like Horney or Chodoro, but why some people sort of like the idea of, or aren't sure about this idea of the father at home, is because we have all these psychological theories that have been underpinned by the mother being at home, and then people think, the father raising the child, how will the children turn out? Well, one, with the research we have, does tell us probably fine, but it does upend a lot of psychoanalytic theories and how they function, right? So the mother's always central, and in all this, it's all about the sex determining, right? It's all about the child seeing, or looking down, seeing their naked body, seeing the parent's naked body, and from there, begin to form a sense of how much they're to connect with or not connect with that person, right? So sex, right, male, female, boy, girl, man, woman, is what then determines the trajectory that people end up being on. I hope that's clear to you. And so that is psychoanalytic theories within the psychological theories on gender and communication.